Hello, you're watching L24 Midnight News, and coming up next in our news program. Algerian President Mr. Abdelmajid Tebboune held Thursday his periodic meeting with the representatives of the Algerian media, during which he tackled in detail several national, regional and international issues. President Gabriel Boric of Chile, whose country has the largest Palestinian population outside of the Middle East, said that Wednesday he planned to open an embassy in Palestine. The Spanish government rejected the Moroccan regime's request to abandon management of the airspace in the occupied Western Sahara territories. In Europe, on a dramatic and risky wartime visit to Washington on Wednesday, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky told the United States Congress that financial aid is not a charity, but rather an investment. Welcome again. Starting from Algeria, Algerian President Mr. Abdelmajid Tebboune held his periodic meeting with the representatives of the Algerian media. This time, the President conducted the interview with the representatives of Algeria's international channel, L24 News, and third channel of the Algerian radio. President Tebboune discussed in details during the dialogue, which coincides with the third year of his inauguration as President of Algerian Republic, several national and regional and international issues. He talked about what has been achieved on the social front in the country and what is expected to be achieved in the future. He also touched on the relations with the European Union and about the permanent and continuous Algerian support for the Palestinian cause.
الشيء الإيجابي أن الدول الأوروبية وأنا شكرهم أغلبهم يعني مدوا لنا يد المساعدة، فيه ممتلكات ظاهرة، فنادق 5 نجوم وغيرها، حتى رسميا بلغونا باللي مستعدين يسلموهم الجزائر.
ممكن نسمي بعض الدول سيادة الرئيس اللي تعاونت مع الجزائر.
أغلب الدول الأوروبية. في الداخل رانا كذلك في ما يقارب 20 مليار دولار، يعني ما يساوي 20 مليار دولار، هذه رجعناها. باقي المال مخزن كيلكو بار في ليكاف ولا في كذا، أنا معه وعنده حل آخر. كان في حل آخر. 2023 إن شاء الله تكون متوجة بالدخول تاع الجزائر في منظمة البريكس. هذا يتطلب أمرين، يتطلب أولا مواصلة المجهود اللي راه ماشي تاع الاستثمار ونتاع التنمية الاقتصادية والتنمية البشرية في نفس الوقت. ثانيا باش نفوت لمستوى آخر. بالنسبة قلنا التصدير ما التصدير، اليوم الناس تبقى الشعار فتنا إلى أمور ملموسة.
Also, the President of the Republic, Mr. Abdelmajid Tebboune, talked about what is being circulated over the mediation of some parties between Algeria and Morocco, saying that there were no such a thing of mediation, and if that happened, the Algerian people will be the first one to know.
ما ذكر لي حتى دولة، ما جاء على وساطة ولا تكلم على وساطة، لا هو ولا غيره. الناس تتأول وتدير. احنا لازم يعرفوا الجزائر مليح، لما تكون شي حاجة الشعب الجزائري أولى بالمعلومة. كون كانت فيه وساطة أنا نقولها للشعب الجزائري.
To a different matter now, the Libyan Foreign Minister Najla Al-Manqoush affirmed that her Twitter account was hacked. Al-Manqoush described the incident as a dishonest and immoral attempt to influence her position. The Libyan Foreign Minister said that she is still continuing to perform her work despite all these campaigns, and she believes in her cause towards her country. Chile's President Gabriel Boric announced on Wednesday his government will open an embassy in the Palestinian territory. Boric said that during his term, his government will upgrade the current business manager to give Chile the representation it deserves with an embassy. Nabil Khazini.
In a move that he said was risky, the Chilean president Gabriel Boric officially announced his intention to raise the level of his country's representation in Palestine from chargé d'affaires to the level of an embassy. The young president has repeatedly expressed support for the Palestinian people's demand for an independent state. He stressed that the Palestinians are a people who exist, resist, and have a history.
We are going to elevate the character of our official representation in Palestine. From charge d'affaires, we are going to open an embassy of our government to give it the corresponding representation, to demand in all spaces something so basic, so simple, which today is not being done, which is that international law is respected, nothing more and nothing less.
Chile currently has a representative office with the Palestinian National Authority in Ramallah in the occupied West Bank, which opened in April 1998, while Palestine has an embassy in Santiago. The Chilean and Palestinian peoples have close relations since the Palestinians began immigrating to Chile in the 20th century, as there are today about 300,000 Palestinians in the Latin American country. Chile as well has a football club called Palestino. The club was founded by Arab immigrants in the 1920s.
Son países y pueblos hermanos.
We are sister countries and brotherly peoples. Let's hope this star keeps lighting our path to peace, justice, freedom, and a way back to social justice and a fairer world.
Justicia social y un mundo más justo.
Chile recognized Palestine as a state in 2011 and then supported its accession to UNESCO. The Palestinians in Chile have repeatedly organized massive demonstrations to protest against the Zionist occupation in the Palestinian territory.
Still with Palestine, a huge gathering of Palestinians marched in funeral procession mourning the death of a Palestinian footballer who was killed by Zionist forces in clashes near a flashpoint site on Thursday, underlying the continuing violence in the occupied West Bank that will confront the incoming government of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Palestinian officials said that Daragma, a 23-year-old football player from the city of Tubas near Nablus, was shot in the back and his leg. Palestinian Prime Minister Mohammed Shtaya described the killing as a crime that is added to the occupation's track record of crimes that target anyone who is Palestinian. This year has seen the worst levels of violence in the West Bank in more than a decade. Much of it is concentrated around Nablus and nearby city of Jenin, with at least 150 Palestinians killed.
I never thought that Ahmed will be away from me or that he would leave me. He was a young man like no other.
He was the best football scorer. Ahmed joined Tulkarem team, and once he did, he scored 6 goals. He made Tulkarem proud of him. They would all talk about him and say, Ahmed Atif Daragme, Captain Ahmed. He used to send me the videos and ask me to watch him for the past 10 days, and he had been sending them to me over Messenger and asking me to comment on them. I asked him why he is sending me, and apparently it was because he's going and that I would have the videos to see. He used to tell me not to cry over him if he dies, and would tell me to see all other mothers who lost sons, and I would say I cannot do that, but now my tears have run dry. My tears have run dry.
In African continent, the Spanish government rejected the Moroccan regime's request to abandon management of the airspace in occupied Western Sahara territories, which puts Madrid in front of political and legal responsibility to contribute to settling the conflict in the last colony on the African continent, despite its government's biased position. A Navy officer has been named by the Gambia's government as one behind a failed coup plot in the country. Gambian authorities said on Wednesday that they have failed a coup attempt and arrested 4 soldiers plotting to overthrow President Adama Barrow's administration. For his part, that the chairperson of the African Union Commission, Moussa Faki Mohammed, has condemned the report coup attempt in the Gambia. The Director General of Foreign Bank of Algeria, Lazhar Latrash, announced today, Wednesday, in Algiers that 2 Algerian banks will be opened within the next few days in Senegal and Mauritania. In a press statement on the sidelines of the signing ceremony of two financing agreements with General Assembly, Mr. Letteridge said that all legal and administrative procedures have been completed to open these two banks, which were approved by the monetary authorities of the countries of Senegal and Mauritania. To Europe now, the Russian President Vladimir Putin said on Thursday that the Patriot air defense that the United States is supplying to Ukraine was an old weapon system that Russia would be able to counter. Concerning the conflict in Ukraine, Putin said Russia wants an end to the war, as well as to all the armed conflicts, and with diplomatic negotiations.
In regards to Patriots, it's a rather old system and it doesn't work as well as Russia's S-300 system. Nonetheless, those who oppose us proceed from the fact that this is a defensive weapon. Okay, we will take this into account, and an antidote will always be found. So those who are doing this in vain, because it's just a pull-in of the conflict, that's all.
On his way back from the United States, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky landed in Poland to meet with his Polish counterpart, Andrzej Duda. The two leaders discussed mutual defense issues as well as humanitarian support for Ukrainian refugees inside Poland. Volodymyr Zelensky said that he's coming back from Washington with good results.
We are coming back from Washington. We are coming with good results, the ones that will really help. When we say patriots in Ukraine and in the US, we mean the protection of state and the people. This issue is solved for Ukraine. There is also financial support. There are also other agreements. We will speak about them later.
In same line of thought, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky told the US Congress that aid to his country was an investment in democracy and not a charity, and evoked the battles against the Nazis in World War II to push for more aid in the war against Russia.
On a historic visit to the White House, Joe Biden promised Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky to continue to strengthen Ukraine's ability to defend itself, with the commitment of the United States to provide it with its sophisticated defense system Patriot anti-aircraft. Wearing a khaki sweater, Mr. Zelensky, who had not left his country since the start of the Russian special military operation, for his part expressed his heartfelt gratitude for the support of the United States. During a joint press conference with the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, Joe Biden affirmed he was not worried at all about the strength of the Western alliance in face of Russia's operation in Ukraine.
Because we understand in our bones that Ukraine's fight is part of something much bigger. The American people know that if we stand by in the face of such blatant attacks on liberty and democracy and the core principles of sovereignty and territorial integrity, the world would surely face worse consequences.
After receiving him with a long-standing ovation and standing up several times to applaud him during his speech, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky told the US Congress that US aid to his country is an investment in global security and democracy and not a charity.
Your money is not charity. It's an investment in the global security and democracy that we handle in the most responsible way.
On September 1st, 2021, Volodymyr Zelensky had already been received at the White House by Joe Biden, who had assured him that he would be helped by the United States against Russia. Same two men, same place, but completely different historical scope. The trip, with exceptional security constraint, lasted only for a few short hours, but which is already historic.
Still with the story of aid in Ukraine, finance ministers of a group of 7 major industrialized countries announced in a joint statement Thursday that the countries of the group have mobilized up to $32 billion to support Ukraine's budget and economy, stressing that they are ready to provide more to support it financially. In a statement, the ministers noted that they remain strongly committed to addressing Ukraine's immediate short-term financial needs and urged other donors to intensify their support to Ukraine. Speaker of the United States House of Representatives, Democratic Nancy Pelosi gave her last weekly press conference before the new Republican majority takes control of the House. Pelosi held Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky's inspirational speech to Congress the day before, and the courage, heroism, and determination of the Ukrainian people.
I was Speaker and Minority Leader under President Bush, under President Obama, under what's his name? And it's just Speaker under President Biden. But three different presidents, two different roles. Yesterday was my high honor to welcome President Zelensky of Ukraine here in the United States Capitol. He delivered a magnificent, awe-inspiring speech, I think all would agree, and the courage, heroism, and determination of the Ukrainian people shone through.
In an escalating dispute over pay and staffing, thousands of British ambulance workers will stage 2 further strikes on January 11 and the 23rd. The Unison leader says the action is a direct result of government's refusal to negotiate over pay. The Health Secretary, meanwhile, has repeatedly said that ambulance workers have already been given a pay raise recommended by an independent pay review body. Taiwan's defense minister affirmed Thursday that China's military sent 39 planes and 3 ships toward Taiwan in 24-hour display of force directed at the island. China's military movement near self-ruled Taiwan has intensified in recent years, and the Communist Party's People's Liberation Army has sent planes or ships toward the island on a near-daily basis. A massive winter storm has hit a vast stretch of the United States on Thursday, threatening to hamper the travel plans of millions of Americans ahead of what could turn out to be one of the coldest Christmas days on the record in many cities. The Weather Service Weather Prediction Center said that more than half of the lower 48 states from Washington state to Florida are under winter weather alerts, including wind chill advisories affecting about 135 million people. And now for more international news, let's follow this roundup.
About 200,000 holidaymakers will be affected at the upcoming Christmas weekend, as rail workers in France will go ahead on a planned strike on Friday over the rising inflation and the lowering purchasing power. Due to the scheduled strike, France's national state-owned railway company SNCF announced that 1 out of 3 high-speed trains will be cancelled on Friday. Meanwhile, about 40% of high-speed trains will be suspended on Saturday and Sunday. The company also said that the weekend strike will also affect cross-border line, intercity trains and metro lines.
Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva on Thursday announced a new set of future cabinet members ahead of his January 1st inauguration, including Vice President Geraldo Alckmin as Minister of Development, Industry and Trade. Lula also said economist Esther Dweck would lead the newly created management ministry, while business-friendly Congressman Alexander Padilha was appointed Institutional Affairs Minister.
The number of patients in fever clinics in Beijing on Wednesday and Thursday registered 65% less than the recent peak of 73%, as local health officials stated. Relying on the Community Medical Partnerships mechanism, Beijing distributed clip-on blood oxygen saturation monitors to the elderly and other high-risk groups to measure their blood oxygen at home. The local health commission also required emergency calls to be accessible and the capacity of the ambulance dispatch command system to be improved. It is worth mentioning that as a response to the recent increase in the number of COVID-19 infections, China increased its fever clinics from 94 to 1,263.
The coffins of the 6 Marines were moved to Sarahib, where they were placed in front of wreaths sent by the Thai royal family. The Navy soldiers died after their ship sunk late on Sunday amid strong waves and winds. A military-led rescue team is still searching for 23 Marines still missing. The U.S.-made ship was carrying 105 military personnel, many of whom were rescued as or soon after it sunk, while others had to abandon ship without life jackets.
Ending up our news bulletin with sport event, the Polish striker Robert Lewandowski has become the latest recipient of Golden Foot Award at a celebrity ceremony in Monaco Wednesday. Lewandowski's final season with Bayern Munich saw him finish the season with 35 goals. The Polish captain has enjoyed a strong start to life in Barcelona, scoring 13 league goals in 14 appearances in La Liga. Speaking after receiving the award, Lewandowski expressed happiness, adding that it was a huge honor for him to receive this golden foot.
I'm very happy, I'm very proud, and for me it's a huge honor to win this award, Golden Foot, because I know that everything what I'm doing and what I did, I know how hard I have to work for this, and now I can be proud of myself and also of the awards what I won. So that's mean a lot for me.
And with Lewandowski, we come to an end to our news bulletin. Thank you ever so much for being with us. For more updates, you can follow our social media as you've seen in the screen. And for now, good night.